What are you
get
talking
triggered
about?
by the Sly for Vaughn comments. They be saying Sly for Vaughn. I think they trolling me.
The reason I just don't see them comments no more.
Cameras captured the aftermath.
This man, a passenger in that car, frantic at the sight.
We want to begin now with some breaking news. Rapper Lil Durk is...
Brace yourselves, because the internet is acting like the sky just cracked open over Chicago. Lil Durk's name is trending everywhere. And the reason isn't album talk, music drops. Or beef, it's whispers of sentencing rumors so dramatic. Fans are already typing goodbye paragraphs like this is the final chapter of a rap documentary. Nothing confirmed, nothing official, no solid reports, just pure speculation. ALLEGED court chatter, screenshots with question marks, and sources nobody can trace. Yet somehow, the rumor monster grew teeth overnight. TikTok narrators are speaking like court insiders. Reddit threads are spiraling like conspiracy bunkers. And Twitter detectives are zooming in on blurry courthouse photos like they worked the case personally. Some fans swear the paperwork is out there. Others claim everything is cap. And a few are preparing emotional tributes just in case. And when gossip pages post captions like, "Is this the end of Durk?" Without context, you know the chaos has officially gone premium. No verdict announced. No official statement. But the internet doesn't wait for facts. It builds its own storyline from shadows. Vibes, dramatic edits, and rumor fumes, and right now. Those fumes smell like panic, because if even a fraction of these sentencing whispers have weight, Lil Durk's future just became the scariest. Cliffhanger in hip-hop. The chaos began with nothing more than a vague sentence. Floating across social media, Lil Durk might be facing sentencing. 7 words, no context, no source. Not even a screenshot attached, but those 7 words. Detonated across the internet like someone leaked the final season of a cult series. First, it was a whisper under a comment thread. Then a repost from a gossip page with 67 emojis and no explanation. And within hours, fans swore the rumors were definitely coming from court insiders. Nobody stopped to ask which insiders or which courts. They didn't need to. Mystery is more powerful than clarity. The earliest posts didn't even mention specifics, no dates, no charges, no legal details. Just those haunting phrases: rumored sentencing, possible verdict, court whispers. And the less information there was, the more imagination stretched to fill it. A single blurry photo outside a courthouse, which might have been any courthouse, in any city, on any day, started circulating with captions like, "Look closely." Look closely at what? A random sidewalk. But when paranoia sets in, even concrete can become evidence. Soon, TikTok took the baton and sprinted like it was training for the Olympics. Deep-voiced narrators stitched together clips of Durk performing, walking, sitting, blinking, and treated every second as subliminal messaging. Someone slowed footage from an interview and claimed his body language looked resigned. Another creator used dramatic piano chords while analyzing whether his eyes looked heavy with consequence. That's the internet's favorite forensic discipline. Decoding vibes and calling it proof. Screenshots of supposed court documents began to pop up next, blurry. PDFs with smudged text, names misspelled. Court seals that looked like clip art, but they still went viral. Someone circled a random date and typed, "Pay attention." Another screenshot highlighted the word hearing, even though no one could confirm what hearing it referenced. Fans zoomed in like archaeologists deciphering ancient tablets, convinced they were uncovering prophecy instead of pixels. Then Twitter waded in, which meant the rumors got louder and sharper. Posts saying, "He's gone. This is the end," and fans say goodbye. Started trending with absolutely no foundation other than panic energy. Some users pointed to his quieter social media presence, calling it pre-sentencing silence. As if every time someone stops posting for a few days, it automatically means legal doom. Others interpreted vague lyrics in old songs as foreshadowing because online myth-making has no rules. Meanwhile, nobody had an official report. Not one news outlet had confirmed anything. No team statements, no legal filings, no judge quotes, nothing. But logic gets buried fast when drama starts trending. Subtweets from random accounts acting like they heard details were treated like bulletproof intel. Anonymous comments on hip-hop forums claiming, "Trust me, I know things," suddenly became gospel. A stranger could say, "My cousin's barber works near the courtroom," and thousands would nod like they just heard. CNN. The rumor spread even faster because of Durk's history, not confirmed legal trouble. But the familiar cloud of tension, scrutiny, and public curiosity that follows high-profile rappers. The internet didn't wait to see if anything was real. It simply decided this moment fit its idea of Durk's storyline and ran with it like marathon champions carrying zero facts. Fan pages became emotional hubs within hours. If this is true, I'm heartbroken. No way they're taking Durk. Posts with candle emojis, tribute edits, and dramatic quotes from his songs flooded feeds like he'd already disappeared from the industry. The meme templates went into overdrive. Durk staring at the camera with captions like, "When you know the judge ain't," smiling. Entire communities were treating speculation as legacy. TikTok live stream edits turned every lyric ever written by Durk into cryptic symbolism. Bars about struggle. Proof, lines about fighting demons. Confirmation, mentions of consequences. Wink wink revelations. It didn't matter that these lyrics could apply to thousands of artists. It mattered that people were searching for clues, and when you search for clues with enough emotional investment, you'll find them where they don't exist. Then came the sources. Nobody knew their names, but they existed everywhere. Tweets titled, "Someone from downtown said." Posts saying close circles are talking. A voiceover video where someone claimed, "Word is he might be facing time." When pushed for details, none appeared. But confidence can sound like truth if presented with enough conviction. Durk's quietness online became currency. If he posted normally, commenters wrote masking pain. If he stayed silent, they wrote, "This confirms everything." If a caption sounded inspirational, people said he was preparing his mind. He looked tired in a photo. Users insisted it was court stress. Ordinary human behavior became symbolic architecture for a storyline built on thin air. And because Durk himself didn't respond to the whispers, rumor culture rewarded itself with certainty. If it wasn't real, they would have shut it down by now. Strangers tweeted as though public figures drop everything to correct random posts. Silence became the internet's favorite form of confession, even when silence just means someone's living their life. Screenshots of headlines didn't help either, especially when those headlines were just fans posting titles like "Sentencing looms" or "This might be goodbye." Unverified phrases became miniature news outlets. YouTube thumbnails showing judges, jail bars, courtrooms, and Durk looking serious racked millions of clicks. It didn't matter those thumbnails were made on free editing apps by teenagers, they looked official. And online perception is always louder than truth. People who didn't believe it still watched every breakdown video just in case. Because curiosity feeds drama even when skepticism exists. And once emotional investment takes root, even the skeptics feel compelled to stay in the loop. Rumor rarely needs believers. It just needs attention. Comment sections turn philosophical. What if this is karma? What if this is all cap? What if someone's framing him? No answers. Just flames. Podcast rooms started dissecting the non-details as if political analysts discussing national security. One host said, "These sentencing whispers don't pop out of nowhere." Well, actually, they kinda did. But ominous tone makes empty statements sound profound. the strangest twist. The rumor started mutating into nostalgia. Fans compiled tribute edits, playlist tributes, emotional captions like, "If this is the last chapter, thank you, Durk." And all this was based on absolutely zero confirmed information. It wasn't the truth that mattered, it was the fear of possibility. Because in the age of viral assumptions, suspense outranks fact, and imagination outruns reality every time. By the end of this rumor storm wave, almost nobody could explain where the sentencing whispers began. They just existed, floating, mutating, spreading, evolving into a full-scale digital meltdown. And that's when the real chaos started. When people forgot to look for confirmation at all, they didn't ask, "Is this true?" They asked, "What if it is?" And once that question takes root, rumor doesn't just spread, it becomes culture. Once the early sentencing whispers went viral, things got even messier. It wasn't enough that nobody knew where the rumor started. The internet now felt spiritually obligated to escalate the mystery with detective energy and emotional dramatization. And when celebrity pages joined the hysteria, everything jumped to Zeus-level insanity. The first spark came from a random rapper who reposted a screenshot of Lil Durk looking serious with the caption, "Respect to real soldiers when storms hit." That one cryptic sentence launched thousands of threads. Was he hinting? Was he mourning? Was he just being poetic? Nobody knew. Nobody cared. People wrote entire TikTok dissertations around that one screenshot, narrating it like leaked courtroom parchment. Then an Instagram model posted a black screen with nothing but eye emojis. Absolutely zero words. Could have been about a breakup, laundry, or missing lip gloss. But rumor culture declared it a silent signal connected to Durk's alleged situation. When a digital crowd wants a puzzle, they will happily turn emojis into encrypted scripture. And then the blogs smelled opportunity. Pages that posted 5 times a year suddenly uploaded 50 in one afternoon. Titles like "Sentencing Sources Speak." Fans fear goodbye insiders hint this might be it. No actual insiders, of course, just recycled reposts of fans speculating under other reposts. Screenshot inception. And because the posts looked formatted like news, people swallowed them without chewing. Soon, the goodbye energy thickened. Edits of Lil Durk performing, layered with orchestral music, sentimental captions, and slow-motion effects invaded the algorithm. Comments read like memorial walls. "Whatever happens, respect. If this rumor ends bad, love to you, Durk. It shouldn't be like this." It was emotional chaos built from shadows. Twitter became a myth-forging furnace. People glued together unrelated tweets, quotes, or motivational captions Durk posted weeks ago and retrofitted them as proof. Even inspiration lines got rebranded as subtle messages before sentencing. One influencer wrote, "Artists speak before consequences come," as though this was a confirmed prophecy instead of poetic nonsense. Of course, meme pages didn't miss their cue. They poked both sides. Fans, when Durk hasn't posted in 48 hours, he's gone. Durk logs in and uploads a picture of shoes. Everyone, this is symbolic. Sentencing confirmed. Satire became documentation. Irony became interpretation. And somewhere in the middle, actual fans started asking themselves whether jokes were low-key truths. YouTube theorists were the loudest of all. Entire 30-minute breakdowns analyzed Durk's old interviews, pausing on micro-expressions, zooming into his blinking, slowing down seconds of silence to extract hidden messages. A clip of him staring at the floor got labeled spiritual reflection before judgment. Nobody knew what judgment. Nobody knew from whom. But saying it with dramatic background music made it feel scholarly. Then came the celebrity passive-aggressive reactions. A known producer manually liked a comment saying prayers for Durk. and that tiny tap of a thumb was treated like insider confirmation. People posted screenshots of the like and yelled, "See, see." They know. Likes are not evidence, they're barely communication. But rumor culture treats digital crumbs as gourmet meals. On the opposite side, rapper posted laughing emojis under a thread, calling everything cap, and that triggered a different theory entirely. They're laughing because they know something worse. Apparently, emojis are damning testimony, depending on how paranoid the audience is. Meanwhile, fans debated whether Lil Durk's silence was strategic, resigned, spiritual, numb, or simply boredom with internet noise. Some swore he was being advised not to speak. Others insisted silence meant everything was baseless. The absence of clarity became its own trending storyline. Even newer theories began mutating. Maybe his team was withholding statements on purpose. Maybe the rumors were manufactured by haters. Maybe this was the warm-up to an album drop. Maybe TikTok. Creators planted the whispers for engagement. Maybe blogs boosted it for numbers. Maybe fans were projecting fears from other cases into this one. The wildest corners of social media, even entertained the idea that the alleged sentencing talk was a public fear simulation, as people online cannot resist turning gossip into half-sacred symbolism. And as the rumor matured, people began dragging completely unrelated moments into the storyline. Missed tour dates, signs, quiet studio nights, transition, lyrics about consequences, foretelling, a hoodie pulled low in a photo, heavy burdens. He could post a sandwich and someone would say, "Bread symbolizes time." Just saying. Even industry prediction psychics emerged, users who confidently tweeted things like, "Tia, knew this was coming since last year." Yes, you knew. Based on what? Silence and vibes. Durk's fanbase split into emotional camps. Some wanted reassurance. Others preferred the saga. Paranoia worshipped ambiguity. Worry fed hysteria. Hysteria fed views. And views fed rumor. The strangest part, every faction used the lack of facts to support their side. No info means something is being hidden. No info means nothing is happening. No info means everyone's lying about everything. Contradictions didn't weaken arguments, they strengthened them, because rumor logic isn't built from accuracy. It's built from passion. At one point, a grainy picture circulated of someone who might have been Durk standing near a legal building. The photo was so pixelated it could have been anyone, anywhere. Yet people cropped, enhanced, filtered, inverted, brightened, contrasted, and accused smartphones of being part of a cover-up. They blurred it. Commenters said, ignoring the fact that maybe the camera was just low quality. And while all of this spiraled, nobody found a single verified detail. No court note, no legal write-up, no public filing, no official announcement. Nothing credible surfaced, but the lack of clarity became gasoline. People don't need evidence when theorizing feels more entertaining than truth. By this stage, Durk became less of a person and more of a character. A riddle, a headline. A storyline rewired by thousands of strangers who needed drama to chew on. Platforms weren't asking what happened. They debated what might happen. TikTok edits labeled him as a king facing destiny, a soldier facing fate, or a legend confronting judgment. It sounded poetic and tragic because tragedy sells views, and the fans who didn't believe the rumors. They kept watching anyway. Because whether dismissal or curiosity, attention keeps mythology alive. Skeptics rode the same roller coaster as believers, just with louder disclaimers. After weeks of speculation, most people forgot the rumors came from thin air. Screenshots and edits replaced origin, and when the origin disappears, the narrative becomes folklore. And that's where the story sat, a swirl of unanswered theories. Public emotions, symbolic interpretations, and digital hysteria. Nobody knew if the whispers meant everything, nothing, or never should have mattered. But the internet built a high-stakes cliffhanger anyway and strapped Lil Durk's name to it like a headline carved in neon. Because in the age of viral imagination, rumor isn't a side effect. Rumor is the entertainment. When the rumor cloud stopped growing, it didn't disappear, it hardened. It became part of Lil Durk's digital aura, like a tattoo carved into the internet's perception. Whether people believed it or dismissed it, the rumor existed as a reference point, a whispered chapter, a remember when, in rap folklore. And that's the most haunting part. The aftermath didn't revolve around answers. It revolved around the unanswered. Once the dust settled, the rumor didn't fade because the truth came out. It faded only because the timeline got distracted with new drama. Durk's alleged sentencing talk became buried under the next scandal wave, but not erased. More like archived, ready to be reopened anytime someone wanted to restart the theorizing. Mystery online never actually dies, just sleeps, waiting for a spark. You could see its fingerprints everywhere. Anytime Durk posted something reflective, fans quoted the rumor. Anytime he went silent for a few days, it became, "Here we go again." Even his wins, his appearances, his music drops got paired with callbacks to that chapter. People joked, he didn't get sentenced, he got stronger. Others said the opposite. Watch, the mystery is still under the surface. When a storyline becomes that flexible, it becomes immortal. That's the strange consequence of unverified buzz. It rewrites image even without proof. It paints shadows that never existed and then convinces people they see shape in the dark. Whether people believed the rumor or laughed at it, it molded perception anyway. Durk became the artist who might have faced sentencing, even though nothing official ever confirmed any such event. The might have had more reach than any factual denial ever could. The aftermath also turned into philosophical content. People on podcasts and panels used Durk's rumor as the poster child for online hysteria. They called it an example of how the internet can manufacture panic from silence and how emotional audiences can turn unknowns into tragedies. Yet somehow, even those critiques still breathed life into the story. You can't deconstruct a rumor without repeating it. And repeating it meant keeping it alive. Even years after the rumor surge, fans used the moment as a personal timeline marker. I remember when everyone thought he was done. I remember those sentencing tweets. That was the wildest rumor era. Nobody mentioned facts because facts never entered the conversation. The memory stood on feelings alone. Panic, uncertainty, suspense, imagination, all powered by silence. On social media, silence is a blank screen people paint their own fears on. And Durk's silence throughout the chaos became its own legend. When some celebrities deny something, people see it as panic. When others ignore it, people see it as confirmation. Durk saying nothing created an echo chamber. That empty space amplified everything louder. He could have posted a motivational quote or a meme, and comments still would have said, "He's hiding stress," or "Read between the lines." Every ordinary moment became exaggerated. That's how rumor fuel lives, by bending normal life into ominous symbolism. The longer no official clarification existed, not because it was needed, just because it was expected, the more fans filled the silence with their own outcomes. Some imagined him preparing spiritually. Others imagined him planning strategically. Others imagined him quietly relieved after privately handling business. It didn't matter that none of these theories had foundation. They made emotional sense to the people who created them. When no answers exist, imagination becomes the new law. With time, the rumor transformed from panic into folklore. Like the stories about celebrities vanishing, secret meetings, underground orders, this one became a hip-hop myth. Not to be believed as reality, but to be referenced as a moment where the culture collectively spiraled into Dramatic speculation just because uncertainty existed. People even romanticized it. A YouTube narrator called it a surreal era where fans held their breaths not for truth, but because truth never came. Instagram edits framed Durk as a tragic hero. TikTok narrators recycled the panic clips with captions like "Remember when the whole world thought this was the end?" New fans who didn't even live through the rumor read comments and asked, "What happened back then?" And veterans of that rumor season replied with dramatic nostalgia, "Nothing happened. Everything happened. It was madness." That line alone shows how mythology swallows fact. The consequence, ironically, wasn't harm, it was mystery. Durk walked away untouched in reality, but permanently engraved in rumor culture. His name became a lesson. When silence exists, the internet will feed itself. When information is missing, theories multiply. When uncertainty floats, people panic. The story became less about him and more about us, the community that must invent answers when patience is impossible. Even critics of the rumor contributed to its legacy. They tweeted things like, "This should teach people not to believe everything." But repeating the rumor to criticize it is still a reminder it lived. And a reminder keeps it breathing. Rumors only die when they're forgotten, and this one refuses to be. And ironically, some fans later admitted the rumor bonded them. Comment sections full of strangers built unexpected connections over panic. People debated, shared edits, argued theories, and checked for updates like family watching a storm through windows. The collective suspense became a bizarre memory of unity, all because nobody had facts. Durk himself, whether he ever even noticed the speculation or laughed at it, never needed to speak. The lack of narrative created narratives. The lack of endings created endless endings. The entire saga proved a twisted truth. The internet fears silence more than bad news, so the aftermath wasn't resolution. It was acceptance. Acceptance that the rumor might never be explained because there was nothing to explain. Acceptance that people projected meaning onto a blank screen. Acceptance that superstition beats logic when the audience is already wound tight, and that final realization locked the myth in place. The rumor never needed confirmation to survive. It only needed curiosity, because curiosity doesn't vanish. Curiosity waits, and even if it never gets closure. Rumor culture will always remember that stretch of time when Lil Durk's name was wrapped in mystery, panic, and dramatic imagination so thick that fans said goodbye. To a man whose reality was untouched, no sentencing statement ever proved the whispers. No courtroom record ever materialized. No official words ever verified anything. But the rumor still became legend, because legend belongs to emotion, not evidence. And in the emotional memory of the culture, the mystery remains suspended in air like a freeze frame. Lil Durk, surrounded not by judgment, but by the sheer power of speculation, a story built not from confirmation, but from curiosity, fear, and silence never forgets. And now that we've floated through the fog, the alleged sentencing whispers, the emotional edits, the shaky screenshots, the cryptic posts, and the silence that somehow screamed louder than any official statement, it's your turn to stir this legend. Jump into those comments and drop your interpretation. Did the internet build a panic castle out of thin air? Did people misread silence and turn it into doom? Or do you think there's still a hidden layer we never saw? Be bold, be chaotic, be wildly imaginative. This is the one place where you don't need facts, just dramatic energy, and theories that sound like they belong in a documentary narrated by Morgan Freeman. And while you're mixing your speculation potion down there, smash the like button like it just tried to leak your DMs. Hit subscribe like you're sentencing it to life. And ring that notification bell like you're alerting the block that another rumor just rolled out of the shadows. Because here, nothing's ever simple. A caption can become prophecy. A silence can become symbolism. A grainy image can become a case file. Rumor is entertainment, and mystery is currency. And if this saga proved anything, it's that the culture will always chase the story in the fog rather than the truth sitting in daylight. So stay ready. Because the next viral panic, the next alleged whisper, the next internet spiral could be loading right now, one post away from exploding. And when it hits, you already know who breaks it down first, deepest, and loudest. Welcome to the mythology. Welcome to the chaos. Welcome to Rap Truth. Welcome to Rap Truth.